Will Raja Jackson be arrested from what you're hearing?
Yeah, there's not a doubt in my mind. Everything's on tape, on video. It's premeditated. Just LAPD tends to drag their feet.
SykoStu is suing. Is he suing Raja specifically, or who is he suing specifically?
I know from a decent source that there are lawyers involved, but that was on the internet. I think it was X posted it, and then a couple other ones.
He's posted a couple things, but the most recent one I thought was the most telling. He posted a very long statement on his Instagram, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. You've seen it. You can go. He's talking more about the reaction, and I know. And by the way, let's call it like it is. Like, there's been a lot of, I can't even imagine the racist stuff that has been thrown his way and his son's way. One should have nothing to do with the other. Like, get that out of here.
SykoStu's friend, the one who jumped in to stop Raja Jackson, Doug Malo, confirmed that an active investigation is underway and Raja's arrest is imminent. Malo revealed that detectives told him Raja would be taken into custody within days, emphasizing that everything was caught on video and clearly showed premeditation. He noted that while the lapt usually moves slowly, the case is centered entirely on Raja, not him or anyone else. Malo added that detectives were mainly gathering more footage to strengthen their case.
So what can you tell us from those conversations that you've had? Any updates? Will Raja Jackson be arrested from what you're hearing?
Yeah, there's not a doubt in my mind. Everything's on tape, on video. It's premeditated. Just LAPD tends to drag their feet. So the detective asked me a bunch of questions. I even asked about my implications, just because it's, you're involved and whatnot. And he goes, no, there's nothing to worry about. Like, you're just trying to get compliance. Everything was towards Raja. He asked a couple other questions about the other videos involved with the people in the back and this and that. Not for implications, just because he's just trying to get information. He's building a solid case.
Doug Malo further explained that detectives said the lapt is deliberately taking its time to carefully build the case. According to him, investigators already have enough witnesses and evidence for the state to proceed, but their main focus is determining how much of Raja's actions were premeditated. Malo also shared that detectives questioned him about the meaning of certain conversations and slang, trying to make sure they fully understood the context.
The detective I talked to outside of the case, just asked him about formalities, what I should look at, what not to look at. He was saying that this is just how LAPD works. They drag their feet. So they're building the case right now. They get all the evidence. The state's going to pick it up because there's so many people, so many witnesses. Heck, even my little brother saw it. My girlfriend, my mom, all the kids that saw it, all the people there. So that right there, they have the evidence enough to try the case. And then what they're trying to figure out is what level of premeditation is, from my understanding, is why he's trying to figure out what conversations took place, what conversations mean. He was asking me what specific terms mean exactly, and like what they mean to the person they're telling us.
Doug Malo revealed that lawyers are already involved and said he fully expects Stuart Smith to file a lawsuit against Raja Jackson. According to him, reliable sources confirmed that legal action is highly likely and the process has already begun.
SykoStu is suing. Is he suing Raja specifically, or who is he suing specifically?
I know from a decent source that there are lawyers involved, but that was on the internet. I think it was X posted it, and then a couple other ones.
But is this confirmed, for a fact from your source, right?
That there's lawyers involved.
Is there any idea of who he's suing?
I think their first name starts with an R and their last name's Jackson.
Yeah, we know that there are lawyers involved, so let the process play out, and then we'll know it by ear. But I can say there's a high probability of that.
That's what's gonna happen to Raja?
Yeah.
That literally sounded like a jail door.
Straight to jail.
Yep.
Malo also admitted that the entire ordeal has caused him a great deal of stress and frustration. He said he just wants to move past the drama and take his wrestling career to the next level, with hopes of signing to a major promotion. Malo explained that the truth often gets buried under speculation, leaving him stuck in the middle of controversy he never asked for. For now, he believes the best approach is to stay quiet and focus on moving forward, emphasizing that his only intention was to break up what he described as an attempted murder.
This has happened. You've gotten a lot of positive attention, Doug. What's next for you as far as in wrestling and just in general? What are your plans moving forward?
I don't know now. I want to get to an upper echelon, and I want to be somewhere, and I don't want to sit here and have to deal with all this drama anymore. I feel like I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. If I say how I feel or just tell the truth, you know what I mean? I don't know. It gives me a bunch of anxiety, dealing with this whole situation. I want to get signed. I want to go somewhere. I'm cool with AEW, MLW, WWE, anywhere, right? But all of this leaves it up for everyone to speculate on, and the truth always gets buried. You know what I mean? And then years later, it might come out, and it's like, oh, that was the truth. They were right. They were this, right? But like, I feel like right now, it's like the best thing for me to do is just shut myself in a room and be quiet, because like this is a lot. I didn't ask for any of this shit. All I did was break up a fight or a attempted murder.
John Bradshaw Layfield strongly condemned Raja Jackson's actions, stressing that the assault went far beyond a normal fight. He made it clear that full responsibility rested on Raja, while also expressing concern for Rampage Jackson, who got dragged into the controversy. Layfield pointed out that striking someone who is already unconscious crosses the line of basic human decency.
Attempted murder. There's no other way to describe it. And, I'm going to give you some caveats about what could have been done, but I want to make it very clear. This is 100% Raja Jackson's fault. 100%. The fault and the blame lies 100% with this man. I feel sorry for Rampage. He seems like a really good guy. His son had a concussion. We can talk about that in a minute, and that he never should have been there to put him in that situation, which is, I think, correct. But 100% of this blame goes on Raja. I mean, no matter what happens here, once this guy's out, the fight's over. If it is a fight, the guy didn't know he was in a fight, so forget about the fact that the guy thought he was working, and he knocks him out. But at that point, it's just attempted murder. I mean, you're hitting. I don't care what happens. I don't care if this happened in the back. A guy's down and out, and you just keep punching him. There's no call.
Ariel Helwin also criticized Raja Jackson, calling the incident pure foolishness. He described Raja's behavior as outrageous and said that any punishment he receives will be completely deserved. Helwin further noted that, despite the seriousness of the assault, no legal action had yet been taken against Raja, something he found shocking given the recklessness of the act.
Absolute shitstorm of stupidity. I mean, just even calling it a shitstorm of stupidity is being kind. And it starts with Raja himself. What he did and the way he acted was absolutely insane. He deserves anything that is going to come his way, and as of now, it's nothing. As of now, he hasn't been charged, he hasn't been arrested, he hasn't been anything. And I don't know if he's going to be, and far be it for me to sit here and be like, that was first degree this. And I've seen people weigh in on like what it is. I'm no lawyer, I'm no officer. What I know is that it was absolutely stupid what he did.
Ariel Helwin argued that Raja Jackson brought this trouble on himself and will eventually be held accountable one way or another. He said it was unbelievable that Raja not only carried out the attack but also recorded and defended it publicly, calling the whole situation a reckless act of self-destruction.
I don't know what repercussions Raja is going to face, but he is going to have to face repercussions. Whether it's, via the court of law, whether it's via the police, whether it's via the streets, I don't fucking know. But that was crazy, man. You incriminated yourself. You filmed yourself beating the living daylights out of another man, and then you filmed yourself telling the world that you were going to do it, and then you filmed the aftermath of you justifying it. What? Absolute lunacy.
Greg Doucette suggested that Raja Jackson may have thrown away his entire career and could even face jail time. He explained that years of non-stop comparisons to his father likely built up frustration that finally erupted. According to Doucette, living in Rampage's shadow, and even facing criticism from within his own family, created the kind of pressure that made an incident like this almost inevitable.
So Raja most likely has ended his career, will end up in prison for God knows how long. And so, in my opinion, this is an example of exactly what happens when kids, they lash out. And by kids, I mean adults who are only 25 years of age. Perhaps he's 26, I forget. When you keep on poking the bear, you keep on teasing someone, you keep on belittling them, putting them down, making them feel less than other people. Eventually, you can't handle it and you don't give two Turks about anything. And so, in my opinion, this was a ticking time bomb. Imagine, you're this kid. You have to live up to your dad's reputation. And all he does is make fun of you, put you down, calls you a bitch, pussy. Eventually, what do you think you're going to do when the wrong person pushes you the wrong?
Greg Doucette delivered sharp criticism of Raja Jackson, pointing out that the original plan was for just a single punch. Instead, Raja landed more than 20 blows on an already unconscious SykoStu. Doucette stressed that once the other fighter stopped defending himself and was bleeding, it was clear the match was over. By going beyond that line, Raja's actions turned into a criminal assault that could very well lead to jail time.
So he gets up on top and he punches him. That was basically the script. And so at this point, I think there's nothing wrong with this. Hey, it was a script. I didn't notice he was unconscious, and so I hit him. Fine. What about the second punch? The third, the fourth, the 10th, the 20th? What about on number 27, when blood is pouring out of the person's head and he hasn't swung back a single time? Do you not think he would know if somebody is defenseless or not? And so I don't care if the guy deserved it or he didn't deserve it. I don't care about any of that stuff. When the person you're beating up is unconscious and can no longer defend themselves, the fight is over. And if you continue to beat that person up, that's when you're in the wrong, and that's when you go to jail.
Doucette further explained that the chaos in the ring was partly due to confusion among the other wrestlers, who at first assumed it was part of the show. But once they saw the blood and realized it was real, they immediately jumped in to protect SykoStu. He noted how quickly Raja unleashed the punches, making it difficult to process in real time. According to Doucette, Raja stormed out of the ring in a blind rage, doing exactly what he had threatened beforehand, and with the entire assault caught clearly on video, there was no doubt about his responsibility.
Wrestlers, they jump in. I mean, think of it. It's wrestling. Everyone's thinking it's part of the script. And so you're shocked at first. It takes you a few seconds. You know how fast these guys can punch? 20 punches they can put out in about 5 seconds. And so it's happening right before your eyes, but you don't even know. You're thinking it's a script, it's a fight, and then eventually you're thinking, okay, wait, all this blood's coming out. That's not fake blood. And so I gotta jump in there and stop it. And so they eventually stop this fight. He storms out the ring, runs off. And so notice this guy, he's in a rage. He's in a fit of rage. He did exactly what he said he was going to do before the script. And so we literally caught this assault, if we want to call it an assault or an attack or an attempted murder. Call it what you will, but it's caught in 4K. And so we see everything start to finish. And so clearly.
In contrast, Kale Sunner suggested that Raja Jackson's actions may have originally been part of a planned wrestling routine. He explained that Raja executed a double-leg takedown according to the script, with SykoStu cooperating in the center of the ring. However, Sunner noted that the move went wrong, causing Stu to land on his head and appear briefly unconscious.
Get in the ring as part of a wrestling angle that was scripted and planned. You see Raja come in with his wits about him, waits for the right moment, picks up a double leg, just as it was planned. And he's doing this with SykoStu, and SykoStu is letting it play perfectly. Raja then turns him around so that when he brings him down, it's right in the center of the ring, which appears to be very clearly what they agreed and had planned to do. Now, the landing is not great. When Raja brings SykoStu down, it's not great, and Stu lands in a way and he hits the back of his head, and he looks as though he perhaps lost a level of consciousness right then.
Sonnet further analyzed Raja Jackson's strikes, observing that while they were harder than typical staged moves, they didn't start off overly aggressive. According to him, Raja initially followed the planned sequence burthens through a punch that looked more like a real MMA strike. At that moment, Shonen said, the scripted routine completely broke down as Raja lost control and began attacking with genuine anger.
While they were very stiff shots, not what we would call a working shot, it did not appear that Raja had lost his temper. It did not appear that these were being done out of anger, as much as, all right, I'm going to pick you up, I'm going to spin you in a 180, I'm going to bring you down in the middle of the cage, then just like a cage fight, I'm going to land a punch to either side. Whatever's supposed to happen after that. There was a couple of guys there, a referee, another wrestler, perhaps the boys step in. We'll never know. Because at this point, it appears that Raja marked out for his own gimmick and really begins laying some shots in, but those shots are done out of anger.
Greg Doucette strongly disagreed with Shonen's perspective. He argued that no one can truly consent to being seriously harmed, even if they technically agree in advance. Doucette compared it to an extreme example. If someone asked to have their arm cut off, that wouldn't make it acceptable. He stressed that just because it was a staged fight, Raja had no right to keep attacking, especially once SykoStu was unconscious and unable to give consent.
El Sonnen, on the other hand, he has a completely different take. He's saying, hey, this is staged. I'm sure they agreed to the fight. And so if he wakes up from all of this and says, hey, it was part of the fight, it was scripted, then no problem. It's okay. I totally disagree with it. I don't think that you can consent to being murdered. I feel like you can't consent to that. To the same extent, if I say, hey, you know, my arm is tingling a lot. It's bothering me so much. I don't like it. Somebody cut off my arm. Somebody please cut off my arm. I don't like it. Stop it. And somebody comes up with an axe and cuts off your arm and says, there, I got you, bro. You can't do that. What if bro was on D and was having a bad trip and you just cut off their arm because he asked you to? You can't consent to these things. And so, Chael, no, you can't just say, oh, well, it's a fight and you can do what you want. He consented to this and he couldn't tell he was unconscious. You know, he's a good actor.
Big John McCarthy also weighed in, saying the real concern should be for Rampage Jackson rather than Raja. He described Quinton as a devoted father stuck in an impossible situation, forced to watch his son make destructive choices. McCarthy called it heartbreaking to see a parent go through such a crisis, knowing it's the last thing Rampage would ever want for his child.